I love shooting a bow, but when I watched all these videos on YouTube, I was like, man, I don't want to do that much work to make a bow. So the other day I was playing around and I made this bow for my kids. It took me like, I don't know, 10 minutes because it's a 5/4 piece of hardwood. This is ambrosia maple. I found this rope at Walmart, and I think I'll have to go over the specs of it. Got an arrow at Walmart, and it works great. So I'm going to make one for myself that's longer, that's probably 3 of these, and see if I can make a bow that's actually this one works pretty well. So see if I can make one that's better for me.
You're going to see some wins and some fails in this video, so let's keep track before it looks like I'm just failing in this video. So first off, finding that rope in Walmart I thought was great because it was like $8. I think it said like 90 pounds is what it could handle. So that's a win, finding that rope. Second win is making that little bow for my kids. I love it. They love it. That's a win. Now we'll keep going through wins and losses in this. Here I'm just making the handle with duct tape. It's comfortable and it just keeps the wood together while I do the other things. Now I'm cutting a hole for the string, but of course when I bend the bow, it's going to, it's going to want to shift up and down on the next 2 pieces of wood. So what I did for that was I just went to the next piece of wood down and made the slot a little bit bigger. And then I go down to the third and I make it even bigger. And that worked out well, so I'd say that's a win. I'm using a chisel to clean these out, and I chose too wide of a chisel. And so there you saw me split the wood. First fail. There were no issues on this other side. And I put on a little duct tape to fix my mistake.
All right, so what I'm going to do is feed the rope through here, through this washer, and I tie a double knot. So, that as pressure is on it, it tightens it even more. That's how the other bow was done. Do that, try to make it a little bit thicker by adding the double. And there we go. Okay.
Now I'm doing the other side. And, I want to talk about a quote that I found from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So the quote is, and I learned this when I was young, I think like 21. I'll be 40 this year. But it was, you either win or you learn. So I think we need to think about failure in that way, that if you're trying, and by the way, I think this is a win to use this to make the bow bend. So anyway, I learned that quote before an engagement was called off that I was in. So hey, in life, you either win or you learn. Now, I thought this wood was softer than what you're about to see. Look at that, the arrow just bounced right off. So, yeah, now I could probably use that log for something, make something out of it. But here I am just shooting the bow, and then you see that portion broke. And I probably should have seen that looking back as I was bending it with the clamp. So what I ended up doing was cutting off that one, and it was really hard to pull back, so I was like, well, this will make it easier to pull back. So here I am carefully cutting that first slat off so that I've just got the 2 pieces of wood left over. I do find a piece of wood on the ground to help wedge in between so that I'm less likely to cut through to the other wood. So that's a definite fail. Let me put that down. But there's more fails coming, or actually maybe just one more, but it was a big one. And I think this is a two-part fail. I think it was because it's ambrosia maple. It has holes from the ambrosia beetles, and I think I made the wood too thick, so it wasn't bendable. So if I were to do this again, I would cut thinner pieces of wood, probably use my bandsaw instead of a circular saw. So here we go. I am trying it again after making those cuts. See what happens. Sorry, I should have sped that up. Bounced again. And we're about to see the big fail coming up here. And there we go. The whole thing broke. Am I sad? Not really. This was a great experience. And I have my kid's bow.